Jai Gurudev. Today we are going to discuss about the lesson The Gentleman of the Jungle. The Gentleman of the Jungle. It is written by Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta. He was the first president of Kenya. You know that Kenya is a country in Africa. The first president. First president of Kenya. This person, he was serving the British colonies. In British colonies, he was working. He was working as a servant, and having got the good rapport with the British people, he got good education. Having received the good education, he went to UK to study further. He improved his education with the help of the British people, since he was working there in their colonies. And then when he returned back to Kenya, he participated in the national movement for independence. National movement for independence. Kenya, or it is not that only Kenya, almost all the countries which are now independent countries, they were all under the British rule. Not only under British rule, many other European countries, they were ruling different parts of Africa. As and when they got the independence, they became independent countries. Okay. He worked a lot, he struggled a lot for the independence of Kenya. He was the leader of Kikuyu people. Kikuyu people. Kikuyu means they were the farming community in Kenya. They are the farming community in Kenya. Farming community in Kenya are called as Kikuyu people. Okay. Gentleman of the Jungle. Gentleman of the Jungle is the title of this short story. It is a short story. Short story. It is also called as a fable. It is also called as a fable because the characters in this story are mainly animals. Characters in this story are animals. That's why it is called as fable. Something like Panchatantra stories. Okay. We know that Kenya was colonized by the European leaders. It means they were ruling that country, and they took the control of this entire country into their hands by imposing certain rules, certain treaties, certain commissions. That was not easy for the Kikuyu people to understand. They were not able to understand the meanings of the treaties which were implemented by the European leaders. Treaties. Okay. That is the main thing. How did they take the entire country into their control? That is mainly with the help of treaties, by bringing treaties and by making the Kikuyu people to sign them. They took the control of that entire country. This is the main reason. Let us understand what is all about this story. Okay, the gentleman of the jungle. Jungle means it is referring to Africa. Africa. And gentlemen are all referred to Europeans. They were all referred to Europeans. Okay. That is the indication of this story. Easily we can understand that Europeans are there in Africa. They are going to rule that entire story, entire country. How they are going to rule? What are the ideas they follow? How they take the entire nation into their control? All these things we are going to understand now. Okay. Let us read that and understand the story in detail. In the late 19th century, the chief European powers divided Africa among themselves. In the 19th century, all the European leaders like British, French, Dutch, Portuguese, all these people who went to Africa, they divided Africa into smaller pieces, smaller countries. I think they were not countries at that time, but they divided entire Africa into small pieces and they shared. They started to exploit the entire Africa by dividing it. They among themselves they divided that. They were the power which was in the hands of the localites, the people of Africa. Mainly they were all like tribes and they were all black people. So they lost the control over their own land which they had inherited for many generations from their forefathers. They were cultivating, they were doing agriculture and they were living in that land. They were born and brought up and they lived, they died in the same place. Those people only lost their land for these European leaders. That is the story. How did they plan? How did they took the entire country into their hand? That is going to be narrated through this small short story. They could do this because European arms were superior. European arms were superior. Arms in the sense they are all weapons, explosives, chemical arms. They were using in order to dominate others, in order to suppress others, in order to control others, in order to rule others. That is how the European arms were very strong, superior when compared to Africans. Africans did not know anything about the arms and ammunitions, weapons, explosives, or chemical arms. These were not known to Africans. At that time, these people had obtained, they had they had started to use the technology, advanced technology, to suppress all the others. Okay, that is how Africans were afraid of the Europeans. And because the African chiefs did not understand the meaning of the treaties, they were asked to sign. Another important thing, they were using the arms, this is one thing, and another thing they were using was treaties. Treaties means agreements. Agreements. Okay. The Africans were given some advantages, in the sense they were creating illusion in such a way that they could improve economically if they follow the Europeans, if they agreed to the agreements which were asked to sign by the Europeans for the Africans. Africans were made to sign the agreements. In the agreements, most of the things were in favor of the Europeans only. They were not in favor of the Africans. Every time the Africans they had to work for the Europeans. All the benefits were going to Europeans only, rather than which were supposed to go for Africans. They since they worked hard for producing something. In the agriculture, they were producing lots of things. The agricultural products which were generated, which were produced by the Africans with their struggle, with their hard work, that the benefit must have had to go for Africans only. Instead of that, that was going to Europeans only, mainly because of the treaties, mainly because of the agreements. In the agreements, they were writing certain things in such a way that that was going to exploit the Africans only. That was the main reason for losing the power, the privilege over the share they had to get from their hard work. Okay, these are the two things made Africans to lose their land, their power, their rights over the land which they had inherited for many generations from their forefathers. Okay. As a result, Africans lost the lands they had traditionally lived in and cultivated. You know that Africans were living in that land since many generations. We don't know exactly. These were all black people. They were born, brought up, lived and died. It is not from one generation or two generations. Since the generation which is not known to anybody else, for all of us. For that, once again we have to go through the history. Okay, so that is not so much essential here. Let us continue with what is the thing which we are discussing right now. Okay. Their attitude toward European expansion is made clear in the following fable, which reflects the attitude of the Kikuyu people of Kenya toward European laws and commissions. Europeans also had created laws and commissions. Whenever they needed to exploit the Africans, what the Europeans used to do, they were creating laws and commissions. These laws and commissions, they were helping only the Europeans, not the Africans. That was the main problem in the subject, in the issue. Okay. Another important thing, these laws and commissions were not known, not understood for the Africans. These are the various kinds of drawbacks which affected the Africans, especially the Kenyan people. They are called as Kikuyu people. they were living, they were cultivating, they were doing everything related to agriculture in that land, that was lost from their hands only because of the laws, commissions, treaties which were created by the Europeans. We know that. Now we are clear about it. Okay. So how did Europeans manipulated the people of Kenya for the benefit of Europeans only, not for the Africans. Okay. Now we are going to understand how did they do it, how did they change that, how did they exploit the Kenya people. That is going to be explained through this small fable, a short story in this case. Okay. Once upon a time, an elephant made a friendship with a man. Okay. See, this is the beginning of the story. Man and elephant. Okay. Man and elephant. So now the elephant is the representative of Europeans. Is the representative of Europeans. It is also considered as a gentleman. It is also considered as one of the gentlemen. And the man, he is a representative of Kenya, localite, Kikuyu person. Okay, we can call him as Kikuyu person. This fellow is going to represent that land, that Kenya, the community Kikuyu people. Okay, these two have developed friendship between themselves. They have secured, they have developed, they have built the relationship, that is friendship. One day, a heavy thunderstorm broke out. The elephant went to his friend, who had a little hut at the edge of the forest, and said to him, "My dear good man, will you please let me put my trunk inside your hut to keep it out of this torrential rain?" Okay, so they are friends now. Once what happened? There was a torrential rain. Okay, heavy rain. It is called as heavy rain. At that time, the elephant wanted to protect itself from the torrential rain. It went to the man. It went to the man who had a little hut at the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, the man is having a hut. He has built a hut for himself, and he is living in that hut. The elephant went to that man and asked the man to provide a space, provide a little place to protect its trunk from the torrential rain, to protect its trunk from the torrential rain. He is asking, the elephant is asking, "Can you please give me a little place to protect my trunk from the torrential rain?" The elephant is asking the man. The elephant is asking a little favor, a help from the man. The man is innocent. The elephant is a crooked fellow because he is the representative of Europeans. He is the gentleman. So he is so-called gentleman. Okay. That fellow, when it asked, what did the man do? The man, seeing what situation his friend was in, replied, "My dear good elephant, my hut is very small, but there is a room for your trunk and myself. Please put your trunk in gently." See that? The man is innocent. He doesn't understand what is exactly the thing which is going on inside of the elephant's mind. What the elephant is planning, how it is going to change the situation. The conspiracy is not good to the man, that is related to elephant. The man is thinking that elephant is his friend, but the man, having seen how the elephant was suffering from the torrential rain, he said, there is only a little space inside of the hut that is enough only for the man and the elephants. The space which is available there in the hut is enough only for the trunk of the elephant and the man. What the man suggested to the elephant, see, the space which is available in the hut is enough only for your trunk and myself. Now, the man asked the elephant to keep its trunk gently. Gently means slowly. Without disturbing the hut, the elephant should keep its trunk inside the hut. That is how the man suggested to the elephant. Now, the elephant, what did he do? The elephant thanked his friend. As soon as the man gave a chance for the elephant to keep its trunk, immediately it thanked him. It expressed its gratitude for the man. Of course, it is going to cheat the man in the next stage. That is not understood to the man. Before that only, the man was supposed to be very careful with respect to its request, favor which is asked by the elephant. But the man is not aware about it, aware about the conspiracy, what it is going to do. But it allowed the elephant to keep its trunk inside the hut. The elephant thanked his friend, saying, "You have done me a good deed, and one day I shall return your kindness." The elephant is saying that you have done a good deed. Good deed means good job. What is that good job? The man gave the space to keep its trunk inside the hut. That is the good deed. It is done by the man. And the elephant also said that it is going to return the kindness. It is going to return the kindness. The kindness which is shown by the man to the elephant, that will be returned to the man itself one day. That is the assurance the elephant is giving it to it. Okay. What do you mean by kindness? Generosity. Generosity in the sense, though there is no enough space for the man himself, he showed the generosity in giving a little space to the elephant. He shared the space inside the hut. The hut, first of all, it is not strong, too much strong, and it is also not too much big. When that is the case, the man showed the kindness by sharing the space. Next, what is going to happen to man, what the elephant is going to do, that we are going to understand. But what followed? As soon as the elephant put his trunk inside the hut, slowly he pushed his head inside and finally flung the man out in the rain, and then lay down comfortably inside his friend's hut, saying, "My dear good friend, your skin is harder than mine, and as there is not enough room for both of us, you can afford to remain in the rain while I am protecting my delicate skin from the hailstorm." See that? See the attitude of the elephant. There is a lot of difference in the attitude of the elephant before and after. Before it was given the space, the elephant had a different attitude. Obedience, faithfulness, that was the attitude it showed. Now it is showing the attitude of dominance. The bad nature, the crooked nature of the elephant is exposed now. How it has showed its crooked nature? It is saying that first the elephant it pushed the trunk, and then it pushed its head, and then complete body. First it pushed the trunk inside the hut, and then it pushed its head, and then it went inside completely and laid down comfortably. Laid down comfortably inside the hut by throwing the man out of the hut. It threw the man out of his own hut. Actually, the hut was built and managed by the man. Only the elephant asked the favor to get the space. When the man helped it, now the man himself is thrown out of his own hut. He is thrown out of his own hut. The man is staying outside. The man is staying outside, and the elephant is sleeping inside the hut comfortably. It is not only that, the elephant also said, your skin is harder. See that? The elephant is telling to the man, your skin is harder than mine. Harder than. Skin is harder than elephants. That is what the elephant is telling to the man. And the elephant's skin is very delicate. Who is saying that? That is said by elephant only. According to the elephant, the man's skin is harder. Man's skin is harder and elephant's harder. The elephant's skin is very delicate. That is what said by the elephant. Okay. Here we have to understand. It is a sort of irony. It is really sarcastic. We don't believe that man's skin is harder than elephant's skin. Naturally, it is opposite. The elephant's skin is obviously harder than the man's skin. But what is the inner meaning of the statement which is said by the elephant? It means the man who is belong to Kikuyu people, he is not able to understand anything. He is very insensitive. It is nothing but insensitive. Insensitive to the nature. Elephant is sensitive to the nature. What is going to happen, what is happening around, it knows very well. It can understand very well. It is very intelligent because he is the gentleman. He is the European. That is what the comparison between these two things. Not only that, the elephant also said to the man to stay out in the rain while it is protecting its skin from the rain, from the hailstorm. The elephant wants to protect its skin from the hailstorm. Okay, at that time the man can stay out in the rain. That is what it said to the man. When it is said to the man felt sorry for whatever happened. He felt helpless. He is unable to do anything because the elephant is stronger than a man. He is having the power with it. We can understand from this, all the Europeans were more powerful only because they had inherited, they had developed the arms, weapons, explosives, chemical arms in order to suppress others. That is what the meaning we can understand from this. The elephant is obviously stronger than the man. The man is unable to face that. What the man is going to do now? The man, see what his friend had done to him, started to grumble. The animals in the nearby forest heard the noise and came to see what was the matter. See that the man is grumbling. He is helpless. He He can't do anything. He cannot throw out the elephant in the same way how the elephant threw the man out of his own hut. He is unable to do that. That's why he is just grumbling. He is making it a dispute. He is speaking out his helplessness in that situation. At that time, what other animals did, all the animals which were there in the forest, in the jungle, came to the spot where the issue was going on. The dispute was going on between the man and the elephant. All the animals came just to see, just to know what is happening. Okay. All stood around listening to the heated argument between the man and his friend, the elephant. We know that the man and the elephant were the two friends. Now they are arguing, they are involving in a dispute over the over the issue of occupying the hut. The elephant has occupied the hut, that has become a sort of injustice to the man, that has erupted the dispute between them. These two persons are arguing with each other, and that has reached to a stage of heated argument. It has become a sort of heated argument. Why it is a heated argument? Why it is a heated argument? Because the elephant is not giving back the hut to the man. The man is unable to give proper punishment, fitting reply, or he cannot throw out the elephant from his own hut. That is the situation. That's why it led to a sort of heated argument. Only the loud noise, turmoil which is going on in the entire forest. At that time, in this turmoil, the lion came along roaring and said in a loud voice, don't you all know that I am the king of the jungle? How dare anyone disturb the peace of my kingdom? See, the lion is the king of the jungle. It means it is a superpower. The lion is having the superpower. It can control anybody. It can teach anybody any lesson. It can punish anybody any lesson. Because he is having the strength. That strength is unimaginable. It cannot be compared with anyone. It can beat anybody. It can suppress anybody. Such a power it is having. That's why it has become the king of the jungle. That came roaring to the place where there was heated argument between man and the elephant. When it came, it also asked, who is the person, who are the people disturbing the peace of my kingdom? It is asking the question, who are the people disturbing the peace of the jungle, peace of the kingdom. It is not only the king of the jungle, this person, this lion is again the representative of Europeans, one of the Europeans. He is also the gentleman. He is also one of the gentlemen. Okay. So this is also having the superpower, that is roaring, shouting at everyone, saying that who are the people disturbing the peace of my kingdom? It says that entire Africa is its kingdom. That kind of holding, power, control he has acquired through its power. Okay, now on hearing this, the elephant, who was one of the high ministers in the jungle kingdom, replied in a soothing voice and said, my lord, there is no disturbance of the peace in your kingdom. As soon as the lion started to roar, shout, the elephant, who was one of the high ministers, in the kingdom of the lion. It started to tell in a soothing voice, in a comforting voice, in a low voice. That is not going to affect the lion. It is not going to increase the anger of the lion. In such a way, the elephant started to speak to the lion. It said that we are not disturbing the peace of your kingdom, my lord. It said to the lion. And also, I have only been having a little discussion with my friend. Here has to the possession of this little hut which your lordship sees me occupy. It means, what did it say? The elephant said that it has occupied the hut, about which he is having the discussion with the man. A little discussion, a simple discussion. It is not an argument, it is not a dispute, it is not a quarrel. We are just having a little discussion. In that way, it convinced the lion to become comfortable. Okay. So now, what the lion is going to tell all of them? We have to understand that. It said that the lion, who wanted to have peace and tranquility in his kingdom, replied in a noble voice, saying, I command my ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry to go thoroughly into this matter and report accordingly. See that? What the lion is telling the people in the forest. Let us understand that. The lion said that the lion wanted peace and tranquility. The lion wanted peace and tranquility. It is nothing but calmness in the forest. Okay, the lion wanted. In order to maintain peace and tranquility in the forest, what did it say? The lion told the ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry. In order to maintain peace and tranquility, the lion told the ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry. What is the job of their commission of inquiry? That has to investigate the matter. What is the reason for the dispute between the man and the elephant? There is a dispute between the man and the elephant, that we know. What is the reason? What is the reason for this dispute? What is the reason for the dispute? That has to be investigated by the commission of inquiry. Why it appointed the commission of inquiry? Because it wanted to have peace and tranquility in the forest. That's why it told the ministers to appoint the commission of inquiry, and the commission of inquiry has to thoroughly investigate the matter, the reason for the dispute, and that should be reported to the lion. What is the reason for the dispute? Such an order is given by the lion to the ministers. And now he then turned to the man and said, you have done well by establishing friendship with my people, especially with the elephant, who is one of my honorable ministers of state. Now the lion is speaking to the man. What did it say? What the lion said to the man? It told that he has done a good job. He has done a good job by establishing friendship with the ministers, with the honorable ministers of his kingdom. That is the elephant. The man is having friendship with the elephant. That is a good job done by the man. That is what the lion is telling to the man. And it also assured something. What is that? Do not grumble anymore. Your hurt is not lost to you. It is told not to grumble. Why he was grumbling? Because he has lost the hurt. Not to grumble over the issue of hurt. It is not going to be lost forever. That is the assurance lion has given to the man. Because the man has done a good job by establishing friendship with the elephant, who was the minister, who was one of the high ministers in the kingdom of lion. That is what the lion said. Don't worry about your hurt, it will be returned back to you. You have to wait. That is what the assurance the lion is giving to the man. Do not grumble anymore. Your hurt is not lost to you. It is not going to be lost. Don't worry. Wait until the sitting of my imperial commission. What do you mean by imperial commission? Imperial commission. Imperial means empire. Empire. What do you mean by empire? British Empire or the empire of the Europeans. Okay. So they are going to appoint a commission. Commission means it is a group of people. They are going to discuss, they are going to investigate about the matter, about the dispute, about the issue. That is the job of the commission. That is the meaning of the commission. Now, this commission is appointed by the Europeans. They are the empire, they are the Raj, they are the royals. Okay, so commission of inquiry can also be called as imperial commission or royal commission. Okay, what are the different words we can use? Commission of inquiry, imperial commission, royal commission. These are the different names, titles we can give to the commission which is appointed by the Europeans. Okay. So now the lion is asking the man to wait until this imperial commission is going to start its work. It means it is going to investigate the matter. It is going to observe the right or wrong, and it is going to report. Till that time, the man is supposed to wait. That is what the suggestion given by the lion to the man. And there will be given plenty of opportunity to state your case. The man is given one more assurance. When the imperial commission starts its working, at that time the man will also be given equal opportunity to state his views, opinions, observations, the problems. Whatever he is having the problem, that can be stated in front of the imperial commission. Only till that time the man is supposed to wait. That is what the words, sweet words, it said by the lion to the man. I am sure that you will be pleased with the findings of the commission. The lion is telling the man he would be pleased with the findings, the reasons which are going to be identified by the imperial commission. Those are going to please make the man happy. They are going to make the man happy. That way, the man is given the assurance by the lion. The man was very pleased by these sweet words from the king of the jungle, and innocently waited for his opportunity in the belief that naturally the hut would be returned to him. Listen, the man, we know that he is very innocent. He doesn't know the conspiracy, the crooked nature of the Europeans. He believed the lion because the lion spoke in a very soothing voice, in a pleasing voice, in a very soft voice that made the man very happy. The man believed the elephant, thinking that his heart would be naturally returned back to him just the way the elephant occupied it. He is quiet. He doesn't argue anymore. He waits for some time. Now, the elephant, obeying the command of his masters, got busy with other ministers to appoint the commission of inquiry. See that? It is very funny. The elephant is the accused one. Who is the accused one here? The elephant himself is the accused one in the dispute. The man is accusing the elephant for the hut which is being occupied by the elephant. Now, the elephant itself is given the power to appoint the commission of inquiry. That is given by the lion. The lion gave the authority, powers to appoint the commission of inquiry, knowing the fact that the elephant itself is the accused one. Actually, it should not be. If you have to give impartial judgment, if you have to give justice for both the parties, the accused one or the petitioner, both should be kept out of the issue. Someone from outside should have been given the responsibility of appointing the commission of inquiry. But here, in this case, though elephant itself is the accused one, he itself is given the opportunity. Naturally, we can expect from this, the elephant is going to do some favor for himself. Whatever the needful thing should be done for itself is going to be done by it. That is clear from this. We are not going to expect any sort of impartial judgment from this. What the elephant is going to do now onwards, it is busy in selecting the people for the commission of inquiry. There should be some people in the commission of inquiry, in that commission. They have to do the job of inquiring, investigating, finding the reasons. Now, the elephant is making another blunder, another injustice, that is by searching his own men for the commission of inquiry. The following elders of the jungle were appointed to sit in the commission. Who are the members? We have to see. That is rhinoceros. This is one thing. And then second one is buffalo. This is another thing, another animal, another person, alligator. And fox, Right Honorable Fox. Mr. Fox. It is going to become the chairman. And leopard, Right Honorable Mr. Leopard. This is the secretary of the commission. Okay. See that there are 5 members: rhinoceros, buffalo, alligator, fox, leopard. These are the 5 people. They are selected by the elephant to be there in the commission of inquiry. They have to investigate the matter. They have to do certain findings. They have to identify the reasons for the dispute between the man and the elephant. All these are the men of elephant only. Certainly we can think that, we can expect that what kind of judgment it is going to be out when they do the investigation, inquiry, because they are all in favor of elephant. They are going to favor elephant only. That we are clear, that we know that. On seeing the personnel, the man protested and asked if it was not necessary to include in this commission a member from his side. Now, the man saw that these were all the members, the supporters of elephant only. When the man saw that, it asked the question, why the elephant is not including anyone from his side? There is no one from the man's side. That's why it asked why it is not going to be included from his side. No one is there in the commission of inquiry from his side. Why it is not included? It asked that question. When it asked that question, what did the elephant and others said? It said that, but he was told that it was impossible. The elephant said that it was impossible to include anyone from the man's side. Why? Because since no one from his side was well enough educated to understand the intricacies of general law. From the man's side, there is no one who is enough educated. Understand that? Enough educated to understand the intricacies of general law. Intricacies means details of the general law. What is there in the general law that is not going to be understood for anyone from man's side, because they are not educated enough, they are not sensitive, they are not intelligent, just like the Europeans. Europeans are very well educated to understand the intricacies of the general law. That's why only these are included, not anyone from the man's side. That is what the elephant and other fellows who are there in the commission of inquiry told to the man. Then again in continuation to that, what did the general lords, the gentlemen, said to the man? We have to understand that. Further, that there was nothing to fear. These people also said to the man that he was not supposed to worry about that. He was not supposed to be afraid of the commission of inquiry, because for the members of the commission were all men of repute for their impartiality in justice, and as they were gentlemen chosen by God to look after the interests of the race, less adequately endowed with teeth and claws, he might rest assured that they would investigate the matter with greatest care and report impartially. See that? The man is told that he was not supposed to be afraid of the people who are there in the commission of inquiry, because all these men have the reputation. They have the reputation. What sort of reputation they have got? Reputation for their impartiality in judgment. Impartiality means unbiased, not in favor of anyone. They favor only the justice. They give justice for anybody. All these people who are there in the commission of inquiry are having the reputation. What sort of reputation they have? They have the reputation of giving impartial judgment. Impartial judgment. They are not going to give judgment in favor of anybody. Okay, whether it is a relative, friend, they won't give the judgment only for such kind of relationship. They will investigate the matter, and if there is any reason to be punished, even if he is a friend, they do it. Such kind of reputation they have got. A man is supposed to get the justice, will certainly get the justice because of their reputation in giving the judgment. Such people they are. Then also the man believed the elephant. And also the elephant said that all these people are selected by the God. By the God, in order to take care of the people, in order to take care of the people who are not having the power, who are given less teeth and claws. Teeth and claws represent the power, the strength. These animals have the teeth and claws. It means they have power. They can fight. They can get the things whatever they want by using their superpower with their teeth and claws. But these people are selected by the God in order to take care, in order to see, in order to look after the people who are not having the power, who are not having the power to protect themselves from any sort of danger. Therefore, the man is not supposed to worry. He was assured the impartial judgment. He was assured the impartial judgment. This kind of judgment they were assured by the elephant. Having believed all these things, man once again decided to wait. Okay, in so many ways, from the beginning, from the stage his hut was occupied by the elephant, he was always met out the injustice. Always believing one or the other person, he waited because he is not experienced. He is not experienced about the ways and do's of the jungle lords, the gentlemen, the Europeans. Always they try to give him some kind of the injustice, some kind of treatment that will affect the man's life in the jungle. That way, the Africans were exploited by the Europeans. That we are going to know how much punishment, how much injustice he will be met out in further. In the next class, we are going to understand that. Okay.